You're not autistic, you're just a little silly. And you cry when you have to leave the house, but that's unrelated.
I cannot tell you how many versions of this video I saw while just randomly scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. So many. And also, if that is you, you're not neurodivergent, you're just a little silly. This sound isn't trending, but you're just silly or quirky. And I feel like a lot of people don't really understand going nonverbal. Because, sure, with a lot of effort, you maybe still be able to force yourself to talk, but A, that's just so counterproductive. And secondly, sometimes it's not even possible anymore. And even if you can, it's really not a great feeling. To be fair, it's also not cool if you go nonverbal and you're not trying to be. Like sometimes it doesn't really matter to you, or at least for me, like sometimes I really don't care. But sometimes that's just annoying. Hello, Peppy Chris, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some neurodivergent TikToks again, because we're all just a little silly around here, I guess. But either way, you know the deal. Before we continue, we all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water, or some tea, or some coffee, and then we'll look at some more TikToks. Are you hydrated? Good. Let's go.
Hi, I'm autistic, and I don't know it yet, and I would like some therapy, please. I'm a licensed therapist who somehow has no idea what autism looks like. What's been going on? I have trouble making friends and talking to people, and also ordering from a restaurant makes me want to cry. Wow, that sucks. Have you tried doing it more often? Yeah, well, considering I have to leave the house every day for school or work, I pretty much do it all the time. Okay, but while doing it, have you tried, like, breathing and telling yourself that everything's fine? Yes, actually, because I know logically that nothing bad is gonna happen, but wow, that means you're so good at coping skills and are very self-aware. Congratulations. I don't feel better though. I'm shaking and sweating and my heart's going really fast all the time. You've won therapy. Do you have any more suggestions though? Because I'm really depressed all the time and just sort of in a constant state of anxiety. I hear you. I sure hope so. Your feelings are valid. Yep, they sure are, but we're not paying you like hundreds of dollars an hour to just validate my feelings, because like I could go ask someone else for that sort of thing. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today, so I will see you next week. Great job. Great job.
You've won at therapy. Winning at therapy isn't actually a thing. And also, if this is your idea of winning therapy, that's not great. But I get this question sometimes when people are like, oh, you used to go to therapy, why don't you go anymore? And it's just like, yeah, it never really worked out. For this exact reason, because they either just completely dismiss anything you say and be like, oh yeah, no, we all struggle with that. Like we all go into rooms and forget what we were doing. Like, it's okay, a lot of people have social anxiety, you know? Like, a lot of people get scared while ordering food. I had to order my own food in restaurants and, like, go up to waiters and ask for the bill since I was, like, a little kid. Because my parents were like, well, you're old enough to say, hey, I would like a pizza margarita, please, or whatever. So I had to do it myself. You would think that if it's just social anxiety, that, yeah, after a while of doing it and knowing that it's like not gonna, like nothing is gonna happen, it would get better, right? Because if it's actually just like social anxiety, or if it's like a fear you have, that might work. But if you're saying, yeah, that doesn't work, it never goes away. It never goes away. I hate going to grocery stores, not because it's loud. Well, actually, definitely because it's loud and way too bright, and people will be standing in the way. But paying in grocery stores is another level of hell. You'd think that after all the time of going grocery shopping, like once or twice a week, for years, it would get better, because you get a routine and you do it so often and you know nothing bad is gonna happen. But that doesn't mean it actually feels better. And saying I've won therapy or saying I'm very self-aware, it doesn't help, because honestly, sometimes that's the part of the problem.
Girl math, boy math, one math, two math. Let's talk about autistic math, okay? If the floors are sticky, just walk on the sides of your feet or the balls of your feet, and then it's tolerable. If you eat at 3 or more different fast food places, you don't have a restrictive eating problem. I eat at Chick-fil-A, I eat at Wingstop, I eat at P. Terry's and get the chicken there. I get Golden Chick. Is it all chicken? Yeah, but it's from different places. Restrictive eating who? Number 3, if you're only looking at their nose when you talk to them, it'll look like you're giving eye contact and they won't notice. Also, if I'm talking to my bestie, I will be staring into your eyes for the entire conversation, all 30 minutes, and not bringing eye contact. But if I am at the Walgreens checkout counter, I will be looking at the counter the entire time. I cannot handle that 2-minute interaction. Girl, no thank you. Also, stare at the floor when you walk. That way, when you see people, you don't have to choose between smiling or waving. It's a very hard choice. There's more. Do y'all want it?
Okay, I feel like there will definitely be a part 2. I'm pretty sure she already released it, but I don't have it saved. It might be in the next video. Either way, walking on your toes or on the sides of your feet definitely makes the floor feel cleaner because you don't have like dirt or anything under your whole feet. You know, that makes sense. And also you don't stick it to the floor as much. Like even if you're wearing shoes, you don't stick to the floors as much if you're only touching a little bit of foot to the floor. That just makes sense. Eating at different restaurants honestly is kind of fair. I mean, if it's still chicken, sure. But honestly, the chicken is served with other stuff. And that's going to be a little bit different from restaurant to restaurant. So the math is mathing, I guess. Looking at someone's nose, and honestly, eye contact in general, like making eye contact is so wildly different from person to person. I don't know if it's obvious on camera. Like I look at myself on screen and I usually look in my own eyes while talking. But looking at other people's eyes is sometimes difficult. And it's also different. Like when you're talking, some people have an easier time looking at other people when just the other person is talking because maybe that's okay. Or maybe then they're so focused on eye contact that they're not hearing anything anymore. But a lot of people struggle, particularly with eye contact, while they're talking themselves, because then they're looking at the other person, and the person is making facial expressions, and then you forget where you were going with your sentence. You know, and yeah, strangers. Honestly, for me, it's kind of less bad with strangers. I mean, I generally don't really stare at other people or like keep eye contact with them the whole time, but it's not as bad because they're just there doing their job. Like at the checkout counter or something, they just want to scan your stuff and want you to leave. And that's kind of okay for me personally. Like it's worse when I'm having a conversation and they're staring at me like, tell me more. It's like, I know you're having a conversation with me. I know you want me to talk, but please stop looking at me like that. And honestly, the whole looking at the floor, don't you just look at the floor to not step on any cracks or something? I don't know is this a neurodivergent thing to always look on the ground while you're walking? And then when you're walking with someone else and they're like, oh, there's dog poo on the floor, don't walk into it. And it's just like, bro, I spotted that from like 10 meters away because I'm just staring at the ground while you're telling me. Thank you, but why? Is that just me? It might just be me, I don't know.
So I had to completely stop working because of autistic burnout and because I was this close to not being on this planet anymore. Oh wow, that sucks. Do you know though that everyone has to work? Oh yeah, well I mean that's how people afford to like eat and stuff, so it's gonna be ramen every day for a while now. Okay, but when will you be working again? I don't know, I just got out of the hospital. You know, everybody doesn't like working sometimes. That's why you think all this happened, just because I didn't like it? You just gotta find something that makes you happy. No job will ever make me happy, because regardless of how easy or difficult it is perceived to be, I will always end up in a state of burnout. Okay, but like, what's your dream job? Anything that I will be forced to do for the rest of my life is a nightmare. You're just being dramatic. I can go to work every day, and I'm doing fine. Okay, well, I'm not fine. I'm doing really terribly, actually. I bet you're having fun sitting at home all day now, though, huh? More like a constant state of anxiety, but, thanks.
Yeah, sometimes having these conversations with people, isn't easy. And honestly, I feel like especially autistic people maybe struggle with this because a lot of neurotypical people can kind of be okay laying back at work when they're feeling like they're burnout or something and kind of being present, but maybe just doing less or, finding relief for the stress from work in a very easy way, even if they have other stuff going on outside of work. For autistic people, that might not be so easy because that will never be like you will never see the end of work. Like you can't just say, okay, I'm gonna just do less because there is less to do. Because guess what? Most places are understaffed. There's always going to be way too much to do in general. So just sitting there and knowing how much there is to be done, even if you're trying to be like, okay, it doesn't matter if I burn out, that's going to be even less helpful. And then you try to lay back, but you can't because you feel guilty, even though you're looking at other people who are just like on their phone half the day at work. And then you just get angry at that, and then you're even more burnt out. And again, this time you can't tell me that's just me, because I know maybe not that exact thought process, but very similar. But yeah, being jobless also isn't that cool. Last year when I was between jobs, I was pretty confident I was gonna find something new fairly soon. So I wasn't too anxious, but I was still kind of anxious. What if you don't find something? What if you don't find something you'll at least like somewhat enjoy, so you don't burn out within like 2 months, Or what if I have to move? I hate moving. I absolutely hate it. Like, what if I have to move somewhere else because I can't find anything around like where I live? Honestly, the anxiety is still gonna be there. Yeah, so as fun as it is to be able to maybe chill some more and catch up on stuff, if you're actually completely burnt out, you're not going to be sitting there and enjoying it. I was enjoying it because I quit my job 3 months before I actually left. And I was so done that I was just chilling at work and not actually burnt out anymore by the time I was not at the job anymore, that I wasn't actually burnt out anymore, that I could just chill. Even if I had anxiety, I was still just like catch up on series I meant to watch or something. If you're an actual burnout, that's not going to happen.
Do I have a high pain threshold because I'm autistic? Or am I perceived to have a high pain threshold because I take the pain, scale literally because I'm autistic? So they're like, where would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most severe pain? I'm like, well, 10 is like right before death. 10 would be, it is so much pain that your body is just about to give up. Okay, so it's not that. And 1 would be the mildest pain possible. Okay, so, well, if 10 is, I'm really, really overthinking it. So then I'm like, I guess I'm about a 6. So this was when I had my tonsils out. And they were like, wow, oh, well, that's wonderful. And I thought, no, it's incredibly painful, but, well, I'm not dying. So is it that I can withstand more pain, which, studies show that yes. It's not that we don't feel the pain. We do feel it. We just put up with it more. But is that because of years of being gaslit and our sensory sensitivities being denied and rejected and dismissed? Or is it our autistic brains seeing things literally and reading the pain scale in a literal way and saying, well, no, it's, 10 would be death, so, I don't know.
Honestly, that. And I feel like some of us just struggle to know that what we're feeling is pain versus just discomfort. Even though things are probably more pain than discomfort a lot of the time, like especially with sensory sensitivities. If I say the sun is too bright, it hurts my eyes, I'm not joking. When neurotypicals people say it, it's like, oh my god, it's so bright, it literally hurts my eyes. It's not literal. Sure, it's bright. They might not see as well anymore, and it's not comfortable, you know, but it doesn't actually hurt them as much. If you have like a complete sensitivity to light, it's really gonna hurt. But someone's like, oh yeah, no, you're reading into it too much. It's like, sure, it's not comfortable, but it's fine. So yeah, maybe we do kind of definitely also gaslight ourselves to be like, well, no, it's fine. Like it's not great, you know, but it's okay. Like I've had worse pain. But honestly, I hate the pain scale. I hate the pain scale. A doctor asked me to keep a like diary of my migraines because I'm being tested for migraines. I don't know if I have migraines. I probably don't. Because I just said it because I have like headaches quite often. And my doctor was like, well, what helps when you have headaches? And I was like, well, you know, quiet time, maybe dimming the lights because I'm very sensitive to light. And he was like, yeah, that sounds like migraine. So I was like, no, that sounds like sensory issues, but okay. Let's have it checked out anyways, can't hurt. And I was asked to keep a diary. And I'm doing it by app, and it asks me to rate a pain scale. And that's not great, especially if you've already had chronic headaches for like a year. It's kind of easy to be like, well, it hurt worse a while ago. I don't know, it's fine right now. Yeah, oh well.
A lot of parents and adults with autism don't realize they have it because if you look up signs of autism, it looks like this. And autistic people are often literal thinkers. They're going to be like, I don't play with my toys that way. I don't have toys. I clearly don't have autism. So here's my extremely lengthy list of autism characteristics, but translated for adults. And done. No school today. No school today. No school today. No school today. Oh my god, did I tell you about the time our chickens got out?
Yes, 3 times.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell it again because I just love this story.
What's wrong?
I'm just in a bad mood. Is that okay with you? And the garbage hasn't been taken out, and I just had a really long day.
Okay, I'll take out the garbage. How are you?
Oh, sorry, you caught me off guard. I'm doing good. How are you?
I have a lot more if you're interested in them.
Honestly, I feel like if you're not quite sure if you might be autistic because you're starting to question because you get so much autism content and you're relating to a lot of it just way too much for someone who isn't. But you're also very, very confused because, yeah, honestly, if you start getting into like autism criteria and stuff, it's usually kind of explained for children from the outside. It's not actually how it feels for the autistic person or what it's like on the inside. It's more of, okay, this is what the autistic child looks like from the outside. It's just sitting by themselves, lining up their toys, not engaging with the other children. Because guess what? Other people are frustrating. That's why they're not playing with the other kids. Other kids are loud and just screaming or biting them. Of course, they're not want to get near that. You know, but still, if you're an adult, it can be kind of tricky at first to recognize what that actually realistically looks like in autistic adults. So feel free to check out the rest of her series, because again, I'm also pretty sure she published more parts by now.
So, do you have any special interests? Is there anything that, other people are into but you're really into, that you may, any topic or hobby that you might spend a significant amount of time on? Is there anything like that? Yeah, I'm really into dragons. I really like collecting dragons. I have these shelves at home, and I probably have 30 dragon statues.
All right, Tash, keep your cool. Take a breath. She definitely doesn't want to see your dragon collection. Be professional, be professional, be professional, be professional.
Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Okay, but how are you not supposed to freak out if someone has the same special interest as you? How does that work? How is that supposed to work? Because you have cool dragon statues and they have cool dragon statues. Of course you want to see their dragon statues. Of course you want to see pictures and know which one is their favorite and why it's their favorite and show them your favorite dragon. How? I mean, nailed it if you actually keep it professional like that, but it's gonna be tricky.
I don't have any sensory issues around clothes. I have a system. I just cut the tags off the insides of all my shirts. I just put my socks on in a really specific way so that the seam doesn't touch like the end of my toes. I just tuck my yoga pants into my socks so that they don't like swish around. I just fold the sleeves of all my shirts. I don't have any organizational issues because I have a system. If I have something important that I have to remember, I'll just set like 10 reminders on my phone. And I'll also text my mom so that she reminds me too. My room is totally organized, even though it looks messy. Trust me, there's a system. This is my basket of not dirty but not clean clothes, and at some point I'll have the energy to fold them and put them back in my closet. I have a lot of random piles going on, but trust me, there's a system to them. I know exactly where everything is. I don't struggle to drink water. I just buy a new water bottle every time that I start forgetting to drink water so that I get hyperfixated on it and remember to drink lots of water. And part of that system, every time I fill up my water bottle, I have to go to the bathroom. And every time I go to the bathroom, I fill up my water bottle. That way, I don't forget to pee.
Okay, listen, you still have sensory issues around clothes. If you have to do certain things to keep yourself from feeling the sensory issues, normal people don't cut out every tag out of their clothes because they're like, I don't really feel it, it's okay, you know? Or I don't have to like roll up my sleeves. Unless I'm like getting really cold, I'm gonna have my sleeves rolled up. And then when I'm like a little bit cold, other people are like, wait, why didn't you just roll down your sleeve? And I was like, no. Because there's a certain level where being cold is so much better than having your sleeves down. Same with wearing socks. I hate winter for this exact reason. You know, because then I have to wear socks at some point because it's too cold. But to a certain degree, having my feet be really cold is way better than wearing socks. It's a system. Doesn't mean I don't have sensory issues. And same with like organization. Like it's so ridiculous how we expect people to have like the same system of like, okay, it has to look neat because otherwise it can't be organized. That is such neurotypical rubbish. If you know where everything is and it works for you, that's cool. It can be tricky if you live together with other people in like common rooms, like in a shared living room or something. Then it might be tricky. But I have a feeling that a lot of ADHD people specifically will kind of worry about slacking off, that they might keep like shared living spaces way cleaner than their own personal spaces, because for them, they have a system, they know where everything is, so why would they keep it completely clean, right? Whereas if you share a room with someone else, you don't want to be a burden on them because of years of being actually made to feel like a burden by other people, that you might not want to do that, you know?
As someone with ADHD, this is what I would tell people if I could just speak my mind without any hard feelings.
Yeah, so then I called him and
Get to the point.
I'm just telling you that
Get to the point.
But I'm just explaining that I called.
You already explained that. Get to the point!
Hey, you want to listen to this cool...
No.
But it's a cool song. You want to
No, I don't want to listen to you. In fact, I want to shove this up your... for interrupting me, because it irritates me when I'm doing something hyper-focusing, finally being able to do something, and then you just want to say some stupid... Oh, look, my friend's calling me. Hey, sorry, I didn't answer. It just f***ing annoys me when you call me. Just text me like a normal human being. Why are you calling?
Hey, excited for tonight?
So, no, I'm not available for tonight.
Why? Did something bad happen again?
No, I don't have any plans. No one... I don't feel sick. I just had plans not to do anything, and you're interrupting that, so just not interested.
But don't you miss me?
No, actually, I don't miss you, because when I don't see you, I forget you exist. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, we can't really say things like this. Especially the whole missing part. I don't feel guilty. But I think I lie to people more than I probably should. When they're like, oh, I missed you. And I was like, yeah, sure. But you kind of forgot they existed. And that's why I'm so bad at keeping in contact with people I don't see a lot. Right? Like, it's easier. Like, if you have like a friend who has like a same interest as you do, because then you want to talk to this person about your interest, and then it's totally fine. But if you just like know each other from like a past workplace, I'm literally not really in contact with anyone from my old school anymore, because we don't have anything in common anymore. We don't see each other every day anymore. We don't have to talk shit about our teachers together anymore. I don't see anyone from school. I don't see anyone from the class of like when I was learning my job. I'm just not talking to people anymore. The only reason I still have friends from my old workplace is because we have the same interests. And honestly, neurotypical people will kind of maybe shame you for it, because it's like, oh, but that's not nice. You got along so well and you should keep in contact. It's rude to disrupt them. Honestly, they're not texting you either. Don't let other people make you feel bad. Or if you need some quiet space of like, yeah, I don't want to hang out tonight. No, nothing happened. I'm not sick or anything. I just don't want to. I don't have the energy for it. I don't want to, or I don't have the energy for it, are perfect, valid reasons not to do something. Some people are just weird about it.
Oh, you're wondering if she's autistic. When you see her eating something that she likes, does she go like this? Oh, she does do that. But hey, I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you if she's autistic or if you're autistic.
I can't tell you if you're autistic. But if you're gonna happy stim dance when you eat something delicious, you might be. You might be. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And that's all she's saying. The last one though, because we all have demand avoidance, but I feel like a lot of us growing up were kind of subconsciously raised to be people pleasers, because again, people like dismissing our discomfort or our pain and be like, yeah, no, you're just being too sensitive. You're just, you know, why don't you go play with the other kids? Why don't you do this? Why don't you never do this? You know? And if someone constantly critiques you growing up for literally anything that feels natural to you, it's kind of natural that you start doing things just to please other people, and then that kind of becoming a habit, because then at least no one's criticizing or yelling at you anymore, so you kind of start doing that more. Honestly, yeah. Honestly, this is a fun trend though. I like this. If I had enough neurodivergent friends, I would redo this TikTok with them.
Here are 5 signs that you don't just have ADHD, you don't just have autism, you have both. Sign number 1, you have a very narrow window of tolerance. This means that you are very easily overstimulated and very easily understimulated. Now, a lot of people don't realize understimulation is a thing, but it's very common, especially amongst ADHDers, and it's basically when everything in the world is so boring that you actually want to like crawl out of your skin. Sign number 2 is that you don't think you have social issues and therefore you don't think you meet the criteria for autism, but when I'm done with this point, you're going to rethink all of that, I promise. A lot of autistic ADHDers use their ADHD spontaneity, impulsivity, and a penchant for performance that a lot of us have to compensate for the social issues caused by our autism. So it can look like we don't have social issues when in fact there's a lot of struggle going on under the surface. Sign number 3 is that from the outside, it looks like you don't have the ADHD need for novelty or the autistic need for routine, when in fact you actually have both. And instead of canceling each other out, as you imagine they might do, they just kind of layer on top of each other, sort of like if you're playing jazz and country at the same time, and it's very discordant. Sign number 4 is that you have a system for everything. Nothing seems to come naturally to you. Instead, you have to develop a specific system in order to get literally anything done. And sign number 5 is that your ADHD convinces you to impulsively buy things that your autistic sensory issues will never allow you to actually use. So for example, a lot of autistic people do not like the feel of jewelry on their skin, but a lot of ADHDers impulsively buy jewelry because it's shiny and cute and we like it. If this resonates with you, hello, my name is Megan. I am also an autistic ADHDer, and I'm also a neurodivergent life coach. This basically just means that I work with other neurodivergent people, and I use my lived experience to help guide you through yours. If you've been looking for someone who just gets it, and someone you can talk to about what it's like to be both autistic and ADHD, I would love to talk with you. Go to my Schmink in Schmio and book a discovery call.
This one just for the people who have both, because I feel like having one is hard enough to figure out when all your life people tell you it's like, oh, you're autistic, you're just a little silly, you don't have ADHD, you just need to focus harder. Like, having one might already be very tricky to figure out. Having both, because a lot of people just see, obviously if they're not neurodivergent themselves, they're just going to see that from the outside and just see an ADHD maybe being fidgety or not being reliable because they keep forgetting things without thinking about or spending any time on getting to know what's under the surface. And then if from the outside you look fairly normal because you have both, because maybe you don't have the biggest social issues, like I can talk to people, it's fine, but they don't see the struggle underneath. Because honestly, when do people ever, with anyone, even with other neurotypical people, they can't, obviously. But having both kind of is tricky, because then you're just okay, no, but I don't have that many social issues, because I can go out, I can keep friends, I can talk to people. But the struggle behind it of actually keeping friends or making normal conversation at work is too real that at some point you can't ignore it anymore. And the same with the last point of not being super restrictive. And you go out and you buy certain clothes or certain jewelry. I have too much jewelry, don't even question it, because it looks good. I'm just I want to make an effort. I want to make sure I look good and I present myself well. But then never actually wear it because it's too much effort to put on, and secondly, as soon as I put it on, I'm gonna want to take it off latest an hour later because it's bothering me so much. So I never actually wear it. But I have it because it's cute and I want to wear it. And honestly, the first point, I hate this first point so much. She's right, of course, but I hate it so much because it's so frustrating to live with that. And honestly, it also might change a lot. Of how much stimulation you need or you want, because some days everything just seems so boring, you can't figure out anything, and then you just get super annoyed by that. But some days everything just seems too much. And same with the novelty versus routine in general. You can't really keep to a routine, but you kind of can, because in your head you're just okay, I need routine, I love routines. I love making plans. Keeping to the plans is the harder part though. Honestly, like I said, it's a whole mess. And up until very recently, people didn't even officially recognize that you could have both. Which is great, of course, because I feel like a lot of people have both. But anyways, maybe that's just me, because since I have both, I get both recommended to me, or get a lot of it on my For You page of people who just kind of have both. I don't know. Either way, that was all the TikToks for today. I hope you found them fun or informative. I hope you feel as called out as I do by some of these. And I hope you're hydrated. If not, go finish your drink now. I Need to finish my coffee, which is definitely cold. But either way, I will see you in a few days with my next video.